This is Clay Melton, and this is Vinyl Voices.
This is Vinyl Voices Radio. ESPN 97.5.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm John Dillman.
Bassists and
All right, we're back. This is Vinyl Voices Radio here on ESPN. I'm John Dillman. He is Justice Sandejas. This is brought to you by our good buddies over at Adley Law Firm. And this week, Ingenious Brewing, supplying the beer. Frank's Pizza, always supplying us with some good grub to make sure that the show continues at a good pace.
Took a pizza break.
Pizza breaks.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, so after a nice little short pizza break, we are back.
And ready for more music.
We are ready for it. What song? And
Yeah, this song is called Mess. It's off of Clay's album, Live in Texas. It was recorded over at Do-Si Do. Jump into it.
yeah, Clay Melton. What was it?
Mess.
Mess. There we go.
How we feeling, Do-Si Do? Welcome to Clay Melton and Friends. Yo, make some noise for Kyle Garrett. Seems I've been going nowhere in circles again. You've been going out, I've been shooting up. This kind of drug I call loneliness. Please take it all away. Yeah! By myself, I confess I've been slow to see what a mess I made for by myself, I confess. By myself, I'm a mess. By myself, I confess. By myself, I'm a mess. Yeah! Thank y'all so much. Audio, who's out of Austin. He's a Grammy-winning engineer. He does the rodeo every year, all the live broadcast recordings and everything. I met him through Danny, who we did Back to Blue with. and it was wild hearing that back, because you hear your live show as it's happening, you know, but you know, you don't expect it to sound like a record, you know, after, you know. It was important to me. I didn't want to go back and be like recutting guitar parts for a live album afterwards, you know, so we kept everything raw.
Just like it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I always found that fascinating, and it was something that was like a part of my, like, growing up, is just getting home from school and open up the doors. Nice day. It's kind of like it was today, you know, just like a beautiful day where you can open the doors, the wind's blowing through, and just play like a live album and just kind of just chill on the couch and just kind of almost like you're there, but just really like focus in on just the live element of the sound.
Do you have like a favorite live album? Because I think we talked about this one.
Yeah.
And
I can't remember what I told you then.
it probably has changed, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't. I don't really have a favorite of anything. That's I don't know. It's kind of weird, right? Because like your favorite beer, your favorite this, your favorite that. And I'm like, man, I really don't have a favorite, man. I just because I like so much.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Very
no commitment, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't like commitments.
Amen, bro.
Well, I mean, it's probably a good segue, because I wanted to ask you, we talked a little bit about this in the break, but, you know, I know that, I mean, the show's called Vinyl Voices. And so music has, wherever it comes from, it's got a background. And something that you do is basically listen to something new every day from a very vast vinyl collection that you have. So I wanted to ask a little bit about that, just, you know, how you put it together. What did you listen to today? You know, and kind of like, is there anything in that collection that's just been like super instrumental to what you do?
Yeah, you know, so what I've been doing is picking out, my grandparents left me a real pretty hefty collection of records. They didn't, you know, directly give it to me, but it was just hidden away in their house. My grandparents were folks that kept everything. You know, they lived in the same house from the 70s to, you know, the 2010s. And I moved in there, and they're all in immaculate shape, but it's a lot of like music of the times from the some 30s, but 40s to like the 70s, you know? And so that's what I've been doing, is like in the mornings, I'll pick one at random. You know, so it's not an album that I'd gravitate towards to or have heard before, you know, and try and get like something new in my head, you know, in the mornings. And there is a lot of like live stuff, which I love live albums, and I feel like artists are slower to do live albums today for whatever
You used to do
reason.
a whole lot more. Like everybody had live albums.
Yeah, and when we did this one, we you know, I'd put out Back to Blue in 2021. But part of the conversations during recording that EP was like, how do we sound like ourselves in a room, you know, live? And so that led us to just doing a live album, you know. Yeah. And I'm glad it came out the way it did. It very honest, I guess, you know. And we introduced a lot of songs that hadn't been recorded in the studio yet, which is kind of backwards now. You know, you see a lot of albums come out, and you get to appreciate the album version live, you know, but we're just excited to kind of show a new face of the band, you know, and new songs. And so like Mess, we just went ahead and cut and said, well, here it is in its rawest form. Right. If we ever record it later, then, you know, you get to appreciate the studio version, which is what we did with Runner, you know.
Yeah, that's a little backwards then. So when you're creating a set list for live, where people are like, hey man, no, don't do it like that. Like, or this song needs to be in there or something like that. Like, if you're producing, like making an album out of it, then you have to have like the top notch, like what you really want people to listen to.
For me, it was more about keeping it real honest and kind of putting ourselves in the hot seat of like, if we're excited enough to go cut it in a studio and spend however many dollars, you know, cutting in a professional studio, then we should be proud of it, how we do it live, right? You know, and looking back, like, it's very evident. You listen to the live version of another song I brought today, Runner, the live version versus the studio version, there's obvious changes, you know, which is kind of part of the fun to me. Yeah. That's kind of what I wanted to happen. I wanted people to hear the very raw and like early stages of a song and then go on that journey with us, you know, after we played it on the road and then when it went into the studio, you know. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like all of us have been to a live show, even with artists that we really love, and we've probably heard a song in that set that was like, I've never heard this song, but I'm digging it. Or I've heard it before, but it sounds so much better live. And so to do it that way, I think is a cool way to do it, because you're hearing the live set or version first, and then you kind of already have the excitement of it and everything. And
Yeah.
when you get the studio cut, it's like,
Which is usually kind of a little the other way around, because
Exactly.
Oh, right.
when
100%, yeah.
there's so many bands that you listen to them, you're like, oh yeah, they're good. Then you see them live, you're like, holy crap, what did I just witness?
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
thing. And so flip it around.
I think it kind of comes like, you know, a lot of the recordings that excited me early on was I fell in love, like most guitarists, with like bands like Zeppelin and Hendrix and artists like that. But, you know, what excited me more than their studio albums was hearing the live version of Voodoo Child somewhere or whatever, you know, and getting to appreciate those nuanced changes, you know. It's like, I think a lot of like jam band fans can identify with that, you know, just like this 15-minute version of this 7-minute song is really cool, you know, and you should check it out, you know.
Yeah, that was my String Cheese over in Austin.
Yeah.
A few weeks back. It was just okay, I know that song, but then watching
You
them
never
in
heard it
Austin,
like that.
Never heard it like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, do they make this up as they go along? You know,
It's like-
all right, it's your turn to play for like 12 minutes.
Yeah, right. Well, I think like maybe that shows that just how appreciative like fans of those types of bands are. You know, they're really listening.
Oh,
you
for
know,
sure.
they don't want to just hear the recording.
yeah.
I think one of the biggest ones that got me was Gogol Bordello.
Yeah.
Was listening to them, you're like, okay, that sounds good. It's fun music. It's exciting. You know, watch them live. It's experience.
Yeah.
Just like completely changed my whole thinking of what this band is. And now when I hear the song on the album, I hear the live version in my head, or I
Yeah.
at least reenact the live. I watched them live, and so it might be the same song that I heard before that wasn't that exciting, but now it's much more exciting.
100%. We've always just been anchored in the live aspect has always been what's come most naturally, obviously, and as a musician, but just what's been the most important to us. You know, it's not to say that everything else is a means to an end of getting to the live show, but it really is about that, honestly, is just that's the experience we want everybody to see and be a part of, you know, and the recordings we want people to be excited about by that, you know.
I mean, it makes sense just because you started playing live so young, and then, I mean, every musician just wants to play. You know, like you have a guitar next to you noodling on it. You know, like that's, you know, I mean, that's what you guys do. So
Yeah, you can't stop, won't stop.
No. No. Hey, you can always spot a drummer because they're sitting at their desk.
right.
Oh yeah, they don't get a fair bid in this live because they're the loudest instrument, but they just want to play it too.
What's the bass player
That's
doing?
Bass player is like wishing.
Thinking about guitar.
Think about guitar.
Our bass
I
player.
can play guitar. I'm just joking. I love bass guitar.
Our bassist for a long time. So this recording actually was the first recording that our current bass player was a part of, Zach Cox. Right. And I've known him since almost as long as I've known our tour manager I was talking about earlier, Kyle. Zach I've known since middle school, and we played in some metal groups together in high school, and he joined up in 2022, and he's a guitarist first, a multi-instrumentalist. He's a fantastic piano player. But, you know, I love working with him because he does get where I'm coming from when I'm, you know, bringing a riff to the table or something, and how to, like, actually accompany as a bass player rather than just playing the guitar riff with me, you know.
Yeah, right.
He thinks about it musically, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. Nah, it's a. Again, I have a hard time still looking and seeing the let's wrap it up. Jason's like,
We got to keep it moving.
nah, every instrument is important. where I was going with that.
That's what we're wrapping the segment on.
Even with
We're equal opportunity here
equal
as
opportunity.
Vital Voices.
That's important. I do like, but I mean, like we kind of joked about bass guitars, but at the end of the day, man, if there wasn't a bass guitar in there, that song would not sound any way even close.
Oh man, it's the
to-
foundation, dude.
It would just be like somebody turn some bass up, you know?
Oh, you miss it right away.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's take another break, get some more beers, eat some more pizza from Frank's. This is Vinyl Voices Radio. We'll be right back.
This is Vinyl Voices, brought to you by Adley Law Firm, Houston's personal injury attorneys for 30 years.
Thank y'all so much.